We're finally going to be tackling this area here in the front entryway for the holiday. We're going to drop off this amaryllis bulb. I have a dear friend, she's doing an arrangement, and she called and asked what type of amaryllis I had in bloom. So my response to her was, what color do you need? I have one more of these hostess gifts left over. This is going to be the one that I'm going to be giving her, and so she can use this. Then I'm going to take you guys along with me, because what we're going to do is we're going to gather the supplies that we're going to be needing for this area here. We're going to shop for some containers that we're going to be putting up here in this front entryway. Now, I totally could go with the Monrovia containers that are here, and they would very effortlessly blend into what I'm doing. Even though you see the Monrovia name brand in the front, it would not matter because I could easily disguise that. But we're going to just deck this area out for the holidays. Come on, let's go gather the supplies. Want to look for some ribbon. We want ribbon that's kind of showy, so like this will work, and it's 2 rows right here, so we'll go ahead and get these 2 rows. Let's see what else we have. Okay, this is showy. I like this because we'll be able to see through it. Now, sometimes you got to get up underneath and see what they have. Okay, so I like this one. This one is nice. This gold is nice, but I feel like it won't translate as well. Although we do need some red. So this is nice. And let's pull it back to see it's thick. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So let's try to find another one of these right here. Okay, here's another one. Okay, so I want to see if they have any type of black in a round. I'm not seeing any black in a round, but I do see where they have black. They also have gold. Those are mixing in with the colors that we're going to be using. So let's check down a little bit more.
They're going to be in...
So there is no green, so that was one of the colors that we could have used. And let's keep looking. See, this is what I'm looking for. You see how they have this round tablecloth right here? There are no round that's in like a dark green. This is giving me more like spring vibes, although I have done a beautiful Christmas tree using this color green, but it's just not the color green that we need right now. But I really need a red. So
we are all out of glue dots.
So it seems as though the way they have everything set up, so like for example here, you see the pink, they have the pink tablecloth, the silverware, and then they have the rectangle tablecloth, and I am not seeing that set up for the red, for the black, or the gold. But here are some white. We could use the white, but we don't really want to use the white, so let's keep looking. I was thinking about going with this black, and here's the reason why. This black container, I think that would look really nice. It's just a plastic container, and it'd be perfect for right here. The only thing is, I don't necessarily want to go through the fuss of popping this out of the container and putting it inside of this container right here. If I went with the black container, it definitely will blend in with everything that's going on. Because I want more of the spiral evergreens to make more of the show, I don't necessarily want to go over the top with the container here. Here is option 2. Option 2 would give more of like a country feel, but it definitely will fit in because it has the silver color, it's pop, it's metallic. It definitely would go. I like the fact that it's aged. The only thing is I would have to find my other container like this, my other tub, and of course we would clean this all up, and then that way we would just go ahead and just set this tree inside of this container, and then it would be like one and done. I do like the fact that the height of this container right here is the same as the Monrovia container, so it'll be perfect. So I won't have to worry about any of the bottom of my evergreen here. I won't have to worry about that messing up the bottom of my spiral here. If I use the container on this side, I can set the tree and the container inside of this container right here. Let me think on this a little bit and decide which way I'm going to go with these 2 evergreens right here. They're beautiful. I love having them at the front door because they're so stately. Let's decide on what containers we're going to use, and in the meantime, let's head inside because the lizianthus, I should have watered them yesterday, so they've more than likely, the soil blocks are probably dried out by now. So let's go inside, let's do that chore, and then we'll pick everything else back up in the morning. You see how the lizianthus is dry? So this lets me know that it is time to go in and water these. Now, in order to not have a lot of algae growth, with your lizianthus, you want to let them dry out in between waterings. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go in and we're going to water these. Inside of this container, you can see where there is a channel here. If I turn this to the side here, there is a channel right here, but then there's also a channel here. This is where you want to go in and water. So we're just going to go in and we're just going to add a little bit of water inside of the channel. The level that the water is at, so I use a little bit under 250 mLs. So you can see I'll just let this continue to soak. Look at the bottom of the soil block right here. You can see where the water is just being soaked up. It is a little bit risky to let them dry out as much as I did, but I have to keep in mind I'm trying to keep, the algae growth down, and there are things that you can do like using cinnamon and stuff like that. But this is where we are. I just moved the soil blocks in here and I added some more water. That way they can go ahead, soak everything up, and then they'll be fully watered in. Can you see the line here? I'm gonna run to the store because I am on the hunt for a pair of those metal tubs. I thought about it overnight. I really don't want to go through all of the work of taking the evergreens out of the containers and making them fit inside of the black pots. Plus, I feel like if we go in with the silver pots, it's going to give us something different. So let's head off to the store. Let's grab the containers, or find the containers rather, that we need. Feel like this size right here is a better fit, although we do have a smaller set of containers, which I did that on purpose because I felt like this one right here was a little bit too large for the area, but I think this will work out great. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get these containers in their places. I have ribbon from the Dollar Tree, but then I also have ribbon from my own stash. Now, when I'm out and about and I see like this wired ribbon right here, now this is black velvet or a velvet ash ribbon, I go ahead and I just pick them up because you never know when you're going to be needing it. And if you love to decorate as I do, it's always good to have some things on hand. Now, this is the ribbon that I acquired from the Dollar Tree. Actually, when I picked out this ribbon, I was thinking that I was going to go more towards the green way. But as I began to think about what I wanted to do in the colorway for the front entry, I decided to maybe not go as much with this. I'm not sure. But what we're going to do, we're just going to make some ribbons, some bows to go on those trees. So now I have some black wire ribbon, may or may not use, and then I also have the red. I also have the zip ties. Now normally with my ribbon, I don't necessarily like to use a whole bunch of wire because you technically can twist your ribbon in order to make it stay in place. But since it's going to be outside, I don't want to come outside and find that the wind has topsy-turvy ribbon apart. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some zip ties. So I do a lot of crafting, so I like to go in and just buy a big bag. This is 1,000 count. I like to pick those up from Lowe's, and I have them in all different colors. But we're going to be using this black because it's going to be easy to disappear. So I know for sure I definitely want to use this ribbon right here, so we're going to go ahead and get it open. I'm going to work with the ribbon a bit. You guys, I love this. I love how you have the metallic against that beautiful burgundy color, and it's definitely going to fit in with the colorway out there in that area. So I just like to start with just making a tail here, and once I make my tail, then I go in and I like to just make my first loop here, and then I twist. Now, if you're going to be using a second ribbon, now hold on one second. If you're going to be using a second ribbon, then you want to start out with both of them at the same time. So let's match this up against each other. So can you see that? It's a nice contrast between the two here. So, or if I came in and I use this ribbon right here, which I do want to take this off. Oh, okay. See, now this is nice, but it's very, very thin. So this right here, it will work in a different application, but this is not going to be the application for it, okay? So we are going to use maybe just a little bit of this black velvet. I think it'll be nice. It's heavy. So what we'll do is we'll take this, and it'll be the perfect contrast on both sides. Alright, so we're just going to come in and we're going to make our first loop here. And I'm just going to begin to work with this ribbon here. Now I will say I'm definitely not loving the give of the black. Okay, you guys, this is absolutely just gorgeous. Look at that. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to squeeze this. I'm going to bunch everything together. And I'm going to come in. I'm going to make another loop here. Only thing when you use the ribbon from the Dollar Tree, you not going to get as much as you going to get when you spend a little bit of coin. $1.25, $10. And even though that's not expensive, honey, because I have spent some money on some ribbon, and I know a lot of people who used to buy expensive ribbon and still do, honey, because Nana's trees used to be on and popping. Do you hear me? Down to the T, color coordinated, okay? So we're going to use that, and we're going to play off of the fact that we know in advance that we're going to be running out of ribbon. So you see how I've come in, you guys. Now, isn't that sharp? Is that not sharp? Now, we could come in. I love a good ribbon like that, the classic, but we want to do it a little bit different. All right, so now I got it to where I can play with it a bit, and I am going to come in and I am going to tie all of this together. Baby Sean, I need somebody to come and pull this through. All right, so we got our tie on there, just like that. And from here, you can come in and you can crisscross and add another tie. But this is our result, because we don't want a traditional bow here, but we want to be able to pay respect and homage to both colors. Now, you can come in and individually go in and just make the ribbons, but I kind of just want it to just flow. And so we'll get it on the tree and we'll play with it a little bit more. All right, now we are going to cut this. So I don't necessarily always like to have them at the same length. So I like to play with the length a little bit. It doesn't always have to be symmetrical, although I love a good symmetrical look. Fold it in half, then we'll make our cut. So I am going to do pigtails with all of these. Now, if you have ones where it's not really even here, you come in, you make a cut, even it out a little bit more, you come in, you fold, and then just cut your pigtails. Perfect. Same thing here. Now you can take a lighter and singe the edges a little bit, but since I am one that reuses my ribbon, yes, it's no shame in my game, I will reuse my ribbon. And sometimes you have the same theme going on, and sometimes you want to come in and do a little bit different, but this is about how it's going to look, and I think it's really going to bring everything in. Now I could have came in and did a little bit more white in the ribbon, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so now we just need one more ribbon. Same thing. We're just going to come in and we're just going to match this up, and then we're going to finish our look outside because it's really starting to come together, but it's not together all the way. So we definitely need to go in and embellish the area a little bit, you know, just get it fully clean and together. Now, if you want to, when you make this first loop here, in order to keep everything together and tight, you can come in and do twist tie here. You can come in and hold that so that way you're free to just go ahead and just make your ribbon the way you want it to be. Because otherwise, if you let go, your ribbon lets go too, okay? So you got to keep it tight.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin.
It would be so beautiful to put our ribbon right there. But I really want to accent the artistry and the shape of these evergreen topiaries, and just accent the craftsmanship of the way that these topiaries were just trimmed into shape. They're very perfect. I don't think the camera really does it justice. So what we're going to do, because remember, one thing I love to do is I love to think outside of the box. You would just so expect me to come in and put this there. Baby, we're not doing that. We're going to come and we're going to add our beautiful ribbon right here. Now, isn't that gorgeous? Now, the same thing on this side right here. We're just going to come in. Right here where you see the stem, we're going to come in on this side right here, and we are going to pull out our zip tie. Can you see that on the back end? Let me get in here. And if you're sensitive to the sap of evergreens, just go ahead and throw on some gloves. And we're going to come around this way right here, and we pull that through, and perfect. And we affix our bow. I'm not going to put it too tight. You just kind of just work it. Tag off of here. I like to kind of just have everything just flowing down to where you can see my different length. And I do like for a long ribbon. It's going to accent and draw your eye down to everything that's going on right here. Isn't that gorgeous, you all? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Even though I know that these ornaments are going to be outside, so they're going to be subjected to the wind, they're going to be subjected to the elements here, I want to make sure that I'm able to present everything in pristine shape. So I do want to go in and just wipe down some of the ornaments here. All right, so as you can see, just wiping it down, it just helps it glow a little bit more. Now, I do know that it is going to get dusty, but just, you know, taking the time out to just wipe down your pieces a little bit, sometimes just give a better look than versus having that dust that was hanging over it. I could go in and add a wreath and take things over the top. I'm just not interested in doing that. I just really want the focus to be on these beautiful Monrovia topiaries. Detail that you're going to get out of a Alberta spruce spiral is second to none, and especially when it's Monrovia.